Bam.
You're good. It's starting.
It's starting. Woo.
It started. Alrighty.
Good afternoon, everybody, from Marsh Harbour in the Abacos. We are live broadcasting for probably about a minute to 2 hours, depending on how we get on with you all and how many amazing questions you have to ask.
Why don't you scroll down a bit so you can see this?
Yes. So, as always, we'd like to just get a sound and visual check. Are we okay? Do we look good? Do I look as good as I normally do? Am I the chiseled Adonis that you normally see on your screen? And is Teresa the Athena?
I'm the Athena to your Adonis.
Or do we just look like we live under a bridge? Not that any of you do live under a bridge. There's nothing wrong with living under a bridge.
In like a troll, like.
A troll. Like
Yeah.
a troll. Living under a bridge. So...
Okay. Alright, cool. So we've got some awesome people watching at the moment. We've got John from Mexico, which is cool. We've got SV Outcast from Tampa Bay. Hello again. Rob, another John. Where are you guys from? Tell us.
Nick's from Romsey, which is Essex, I believe.
And Peter's from Denmark. Someone said that she looks great, but not you so much. Aww.
It's just green-eyed jealousy. They look at me and think, you know what? I gotta drag my sorry carcass to work every day and look at this suntanned lunatic drinking his cup of tea. Anyways.
Anyway, on that note, Larry from Boston says hello.
This is what I like about all this. So we've got Philip is in Egypt, and then the next one, Trevor, is in Canada.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And then someone from the Philippines.
Yeah, the Philippines. That's pretty cool.
One day, this is it, right? This is something I'm going to tell you.
Southeast UK Kent. Tell us where Southeast UK Kent is, as in where you are in Kent.
Yeah, we're from Kent.
Yeah, because...
Well, the boat's from Kent.
Yeah.
When I win the Powerball Lotto,
Mm-hmm.
right, I'm just going to do the Powerball Lotto, like the multi-squadrillion one, right?
Yes.
I am going to, and this is going to go on the internet, so you know this. Nowadays, they've changed the way that all this stuff works, so that I can see who comments. We never used to be able to see who comments, and in the kind of replays, you can see who comments.
Yeah.
Anyway, when I win the Powerball Lotto, I'm going to get this, and I'm going to fly you all to a bar. All of you. If you don't want to come, then that's fine. If you're like, I'm not doing that. But if we do, that's what I'm going to do.
Someone's telling you to behave.
I haven't even started. So when I win the Power Lotto, like the Squidwillians, I'm going to hire a plane and pick you all up, and we're going to go to a bar and have some drinks.
And there's a Swedish Viking living in Barcelona. Pamela's from Nashville.
And Marie, she's always she's one of our oldest and
Yeah,
dearest.
from Missouri.
And
Jeff
Jen,
from Chesapeake. Alberta.
Someone
We've got an Australian. Dean from Brisbane,
someone from
Australia.
Bris Vegas.
Yeah. Have you been to Brisbane?
Yes.
And? It's interesting, isn't it?
It is interesting.
It's a really...
With quite a strange accent up here. Very strong. And then they do everything where they start the sentence really slow. And then as they get towards the end of the sentence, get really excitable.
I really like the architecture in Brisbane.
It's just skyscrapers.
No, it's not. You've never been to the suburbs, have you? You just went into
No.
town. Yeah.
Anyway, so what have we done today? We are in Marsh Harbour. The weather in the Bahamas for the last couple of weeks has been abysmal.
Abysmal is probably a bit strong.
Yeah, compared to all your photographs that you show us of like snow, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's been...
Like the other day we saw Paul from Distant Shores in Canada, like videoing a frozen lake that was like crushing against the bank.
Okay, so we haven't got a frozen lake.
Frozen.
Frozen. Anyway. So,
So it's not been that bad. It's just been raining a
but
lot.
Marsh Harbour, although it's very beautiful when you look at it, it's not as beautiful as anywhere else outside of Marsh Harbour. There's some idyllic little anchorages. The problem is that we got stuck. So this is what we've done in the last 2 weeks. We went to a place called Green Turtle Key. Green Turtle Key, it looks like, if you've seen the videos of Hopetown, it looks a little bit like Hopetown, only that someone's bombed it. It's a little bit kind of run down. Apologies for all those that live in Green Turtle Key, but it's kind of like, it's as if half the people left. There's a lot of boarded up buildings that have been boarded up long term. And I don't think it's just hurricane damage. I think it's one of these things where the town is dying, which is really sad because it's beautiful and everyone was super kind. But then we got stuck there because it's kind of like there's a pass you have to go through called the Whale Passage, for those of you who know, which is kind of like the inlets in and out of the Bahamas bank. Like they're very subject to swell and to kind of like strong sea states because there's a lot of water trying to get through a little gap, so you've got to pick your timing. And we tried to get through, and we turned around. And that is the first time in 12 years of sailing I have ever turned a boat around and gone back to where I started from. So that's how bad it was. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, some questions.
Okay.
Who's got some questions? David Morgan, hello from Huntsville, Alabama. Dale Williams, watching in Washington State. We're going to come to Washington State. Danny says, do I have a skipper's license?
No,
Yeah.
Washington State is different from DC.
Oh, the Washington, is that where Twilight was filmed?
How do you know anything about where Twilight was filmed?
I used to like Twilight. I was Team Edward.
I forget these things about you sometimes.
Anyway, where are we? So, Cocoa Beach, that's in Canada. No, that's in Florida. We went there, we sailed past it, and it's where Kelly Slater's from. Kelly Slater being the greatest server that ever lived. So Danny asked a question, do I have a skipper's license? Yes, I do, but I don't have an American skipper's license. I have a UK skipper's license, which basically means it's probably just spelled differently. And I've also got the European equivalent. There's a spoonerism. The European equivalent.
I feel like maybe you shouldn't have any more tea.
I've had 2 mouthfuls of tea that takes ages to kick in. It's the other stuff I took up the mast. Anyway, so let's just have a little look. So Captain Scurvy, otherwise known as Kevin the White Admiral, Sergeant Pepper. Gonna have to go with Sergeant Pepper on that. I think keep them coming, but yeah, Sergeant Pepper over the White Album.
Country or rock and roll?
Mike, you need to specify rock and roll. Do you mean 90s, 50s rock and roll? And 1950s country? Or what do you want? Modern day country? Modern day rock and roll? The genre, it's just too big. It's like saying Whitney or... Not Whitney. I mean, not Whitney, obviously. Anyway.
Okay, some sensible questions. What possessions that you can't have on your yacht do you miss?
My llama. I miss him.
Alright, no more tea for you. I'm taking this away.
No tea.
Actually, I think that our cats are probably one. I mean, they're not possessions.
They're
really.
not possessions. They owned us.
It's true.
Those cats.
Those
cats owned us.
Well, I miss being possessed by, being owned by my cat.
You're possessed.
Anyway, I miss my cats. But I don't think that there's anything else physical.
No. Mike says, "What's your draft?" I would say a pint of Adnams, or 2'6". You get to choose how you want that question answered.
Oh, it's going to be a long couple of hours.
Someone says, did we get our Bovril? No, we did not. No, we did not. That's so sad. UK skipper's license is not universal. I have the European equivalent, so I've got the certificate of competence. Certificate of competence. How is that funny? I've just said 3 words. None of them were misspelt. There was no profanity. And it's not me with a T, is it? Hey?
Anywho.
So I'm from LA. I want to go to LA. I think I'd be good in LA.
Yeah.
Anyway, Ted Martin says, have you finished the Bush beer? No, we haven't started it. Although I saw an advert for Bush beer on TV yesterday, so it can't be that bad.
We met someone that said that he would take the Bush beer off our hands, and we never actually followed up, which I feel like was a mistake now.
Ingi S. Hagen says, hi from Norway. Ingi, that is a fantastic Norwegian name. And what I would say about Norway is that they have the best ensign. Of all the ensigns I've seen.
I mean,
the Danish one's pretty cool, actually.
But what makes it so good?
I just like the look of it.
Yeah.
I like the look of it, and...
It's kind of smart looking.
It is smart. I think the Danish ones are allowed to be like triangular pennants. I'm not sure about the Norwegian ones. Anyway, Dennis Babcock says, guitar strings rust quickly in the saltwater. They do. You have to get coated strings. And they last longer, but... yeah. And if you go onto the Martin forums, as in Martin guitar forums, like all the kind of aficionados are like, how very dare you put coated strings on a Martin. But I bought a new Martin a couple of months ago, and the ships it stringed with, otherwise known as the strings it shipped with, rusted in about a week.
You're having a problem today.
If I lose the sight in one eye, rush me to hospital. Anyway, so yes, Dennis, if you want to take your guitar on your boat, to get coated strings. Doesn't really matter who makes them. And I would say this time, who do we make the other day on the guitar on board? SV, the Catamaran, the Lagoon. They were nice people.
Oh, Matt and Michelle, around in circles.
He has got a guitar on board, and he's like, I've kept it there for years, I've never played it. If you want to go sailing with a guitar, if you cannot see the guitar out of its case, you will never play it. There we go.
Anywho, Ken, do you use your holding tank?
Yes.
Marie,
are you still crossing the Atlantic?
Absolutely. Yeah. Just before we came, we went live. Now I'm the one having trouble talking. We've been looking at the forecast very closely. Our crew arrive on Thursday night, so really Thursday night's the kind of soonest that we can leave. But it's looking fairly questionable whether there's any kind of window to cross in the days after he arrives. So.
Well, look, we're going.
We're going.
We're definitely
We're just
going.
waiting for a weather window after Thursday.
And after the episode of going down to the Bahamas from Charleston, we are waiting for a weather window. And it's not rough weather, it's just on the nose. And there's no point in just... We need to go northeast, and the wind's coming from the northeast, so there you go.
Nick says, as you're coming to this side of the pond, will you be going to the Southampton Boat Show this year? I think probably not, because it's in September. When in September is it? In the beginning?
It's normally the middle of September, like the 18th of September.
Yeah, and that's kind of a bad time for us because we'll be sailing.
However, we may, and it's just a big maybe, we may be trying for Annapolis this year. I love Annapolis. I want to go back to Annapolis. I thought it was an amazing town. We had a really lovely time at the boat show.
Yeah.
I got rip-roaringly shit-faced.
Yeah, but the Annapolis Boat Show is the first week of October, so it's still a bit
We'll try,
tight.
we'll tie it, but we'll see.
Anyway, we'll see.
Someone says Led Zeppelin or The Who. I'm going to go with Zepp. Sorry.
And also, Phil and Lara want to know, did we win? Yes, of course. We are announcing the winners of our competition today during this live feed. And Nick, you had some ideas about how to do that.
Yeah, we'll do it at the end. Which is give us a few minutes just to get through all the questions and everything, and then we'll announce the competition. But it's been an awesome competition, and it's been really nice because we've got loads and loads of engagement, which basically means that you've been making lots of comments, which is fantastic, and we're just like answering all your questions, so that's really good. So Chad says Led Zeppelin or The Who. I've answered that. It's Led Zeppelin. Mike says ZZ Top or Aerosmith. Apart from the fact that I do love the absolute cheesiness of ZZ Top, like they are pretty awesome, and I used to kind of play She's Got Legs like quite loud in my surgery just to annoy one of the nurses. I'm going to say Aerosmith. But older Aerosmith, on the new stuff where they went all weird. Kevin says, nice coffee mug. This is a Macbeth coffee mug. It's a coffee mug from, it's
Macbeth.
from, it's from the Globe.
Yeah, from the
And
Globe.
it's out down spot, I say. So it's not just some weird Twilight themed mug. There you go.
It's just a Macbeth mug, which isn't nearly so strong.
So yeah, it's a Macbeth cup.
Yeah. Nick's mother gave him that. I think anyone who knows Nick's mother
Oliver Loves
will
Sports
understand.
says, do you guys keep liquor on the boat? Does Dolly Parton sleep in the woods? What is wrong with you? Of course we keep liquor on the boat. It's like
What kind of question is that?
that's the worst question we've ever had. Of course, yes, we do keep a substantial quantity of liquor, or we did.
Kezia says, have you done the giveaway yet? No, that's coming. We're going to announce them today in this live session.
Yeah.
What were your cats' names? Lollipop and Oscar. Should we?
No, we're not putting up a photograph.
I feel like maybe we should put a photograph up on that.
I'll show you my locket. Bayori says, hello to you both. Hello, you. Oliver loves Gorge. Okay, for getting wasted. Yeah, do you know what? It got to the point, and I love Charleston. I absolutely love Charleston. But you know, when we're in the Caribbean, you drink.
Sorry, the next comment down. Just carry on.
All right. Hang on a minute. What was I saying? Oh yeah. So basically, when we got to like South Carolina, like we were drinking beer in the Caribbean. It's like Piton, which was lovely, and Carib, which is lovely, and Calic, which is lovely. And you're like, oh, this is really nice. Have 2 or 3 beers. Then fast forward like 3 months to like being in South Carolina and their craft beers. Like you're drinking a Piton, which is like 5%. You're on the craft beers up there. It's like 9-10%. I got to the point where I was having 2 beers just in like.
I think the Calics are strong. I can only have
no.
1.5.
Calics are 5 or 6.
Well, I
Calic
can only
Gold
have,
is 7.
Yeah, I can only have like 1.5 Calics.
Yeah, but that Viking, that Voodoo IPA stuff I was drinking was like 10%.
Okay, anyway.
Not like Bandy.
So, someone called Cleanse Gaming says, hey guys, I'm a new new watcher, welcome. And have been watched so much over the last few days that I'm hearing Nick snark in my dreams. Do you know what snark is?
I think it means sarcastic, nasty comment.
It's not nasty, it's just like sarcastic.
Sarcastic, yeah. Sorry, I'm a little bit sarcastic. Mike says, you're younger than me, so rock and roll. So you're rock and roll. I love rock. Look, I grew up, like when I was a nipper, not a nipper, when I was like in my early 20s, I was a DJ in a club. So I used to, you can work out what sort of dance music I wasn't listening to. It wasn't dance music. I was when I was at university, I was DJ. So, Christy, hello, Christy. Thank you for posting such fantastic photographs on Instagram. We love seeing your holidays. Bit weird. No, we're allowed to watch it. It's just kind of not like we're stalking you. We just, oops. Getting a prod in the ribs to say, shut up. Anyway.
You should be used to this by now. I'm trying to get a bloody word in, but it's a little bit hard. Right. Why don't you have another sip of your tea so that I can...
My tea is so good, the Danes couldn't wait to see it made.
What?
Just get on with it.
Okay, so...
This tea's got a worm in the bottom of it.
Shut up.
Alright, get on with it.
Hardwick says Pacific or Atlantic and Pacific when? So, sorry, if you guys are not up to date with our plans, we do talk about this kind of pretty much every time we do a live feed, actually, but not really in between. So, if you've missed our live feeds in the past, what our plans are is to cross the Atlantic just next week, hopefully, fingers crossed. And we'll go Bahamas to Bermuda. We'll spend a few days in Bermuda, just fill up the tanks again, restock, maybe do a bit of laundry, get some sleep, and then we'll be going across the Atlantic to the Azores. And then from the Azores, we'll be going to Europe. And we're heading towards the Med, but after that, our plans get a little bit hazy. So stay tuned for what happens after we get to Europe.
We have vaguely come to the decision, and we are we're so flaky when it comes to our decisions, we can't make them and stick to them. But the current decision is that we're going to definitely do next season in Europe. The boat, we bought this boat for a reason, and the reason was to do the Bahamas, because these boats are perfect for the Bahamas. We can sit in like 90 centimetres or 3 feet of water and go all sorts of places, and the French canals. And so it's perfect for that, and it's perfect for the ICW, but it's not so perfect for doing like longer ocean-going passages like the Pacific. So I think we're going to change up, sell the boat in a couple of years' time, change up and come back this way.
And don't forget that, crossing the Pacific doesn't mean crossing the Pacific. It actually means crossing the Pacific, crossing the Indian Ocean, then crossing the Southern Atlantic again, and then crossing the Northern Atlantic again. So if we were to pass through the Panama Canal, we would have basically at least 5 years of sailing across oceans ahead of us. And I don't think that this is the best boat for that, for a variety of reasons that we won't go into right now.
So we have a sensible question. Do we carry an emergency medical kit?
Yes, we certainly do. I've been through our emergency medical kit only last week to make sure everything's okay. So yes, that's the answer to that.
And strange enough, following off them, Angry Dragon. Angry Dragon. Are you really angry? And more importantly, are you really a dragon? How do we handle health issues, doctors and insurance around the world, checkups, etc.? Okay, so thankfully, touch wood, I think we're probably both of an age where we don't need regular checkups. What we do have, we have medical insurance from Bishop Skinner. And Bishop Skinner I think they're a UK insurance company, but what they do is allow you to have medical and medical repatriation insurance for yachtsmen, which basically means you're allowed to go offshore and you can be out of the country almost indefinitely.
Yeah, normal travel insurance, you have to be, I think it's like 3 months, and then you have to come back to your country of kind of origin, so or at least the country that you reside in. Okay, cool. So, have you guys been smoking weed? You're all laughing. Yeah. No. How long does it take to cross from the Azores to Europe? The Azores to like Lagos, which is on the Algarve in Portugal, which is its closest point, is I think from memory about 800 to 900 miles. I can't remember. It's in that. I can't remember exactly, but it's about that amount. So for us, it would take, I don't know, maybe 6 to 7 days. So yeah, that sounds like that.
Yeah.
How much is a beer in the Bahamas? That's a good question. If you go to a bar for happy hour, it'll cost about $5. Normally, non-happy hour, $6 to $7.
Yeah. Someone says, how do we handle mental health issues? I just bang my head against a compression post until the voices go away. Any other questions while we got going? So, someone says, what kind of boats are you going to be looking at? We really do not know. I think...
This is a circular conversation that Nick and I have.
It will be bigger.
Daily.
That's the only thing. We will buy a bigger boat.
Yeah.
We've lived on this boat for 3 years very, very, very comfortably.
Yeah.
And more comfortably than most 50-footers because of the size of the cabin and because of the size of the cockpit, which are the two things you need in warm weather. Well, we've been onto 55-foot boats where we've got smaller cockpits and smaller beds, and we're like, whoa, you know. So, but for waterline length, we just want something slightly faster.
But I mean, we have a wish list in our mind, and we're yet to find a boat that ticks all the boxes.
Yep.
So
we've got a few in mind, but we're just going to.
But none of them actually are perfect. Okay, so do you guys have internet while you're sailing? Not really. We have. Well, we do. We have like satellite internet, but we don't. Like, we can't surf the web or anything. We can send and receive emails, and that's about it. Although, do you want to expand on that a little bit? Because I think there's some new Iridium are bringing out something new.
Yeah, Iridium are putting up a new set of satellites, which should give you in the next couple of years like full-on Iridium broadband, like wherever you are in the world. Although, like 5 minutes of airtime is going to be the cost of about 2 pints of blood. It's like super expensive. So there you go. So we don't have internet. Like we've got like slow internet to like get weather at sea, but it's the same speed as like a 1994 really terrible modem from Tandy.
And it's very expensive.
Yeah, so yeah.
Nick, do you play guitar left-handers?
I'm a left-handed guitarist and buy left-handed guitars, yes.
Andre says, would you go straight across from Panama Canal or turn right into Mexico, California, Hawaii? I don't know. I don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. That's there's no way that I want to kind of miss out on. So
SCR 5051 says, soy el único que habla español. No. Habla español. O sí.
Stephanie says, what would you say is this is a good question. What would you say is critical to carry an emergency medical kit? Antibiotics or a suture kit, etc. So I think that the answer to that really depends on you personally, on your health, and what you think is likely to be a problem. So if you have health problems, then obviously you're going to have to carry stuff that's going to deal with that. If you're otherwise healthy and hopefully you're not going to have any problems, then the most likely issues will probably be related to trauma. So it'll probably be an injury of some kind. Why is this facing towards me? I feel like I should do this a bit. So in that case, or an infection following some kind of injury. So if you get like a deep cut on your leg or something, then the chances of that becoming infected are fairly high because you're not going to be in an environment that is going to be conducive to keeping that sterile and keeping it clean. You're also not going to be able to go to a hospital where they're going to be able to like clean it really well, stitch it up, that kind of thing. So I personally think that having a decent kind of plan for any kind of traumatic injury is important. So that means anything from lots of band-aids and bandages to, yes, ideally a suture kit. Do we have a suture kit on board? We
should have black silk. I always carry black silk.
Yeah, so we have a suture kit on board. Nick obviously sutures. He's a dentist.
Was.
Yeah, but it can still, you know, you still come in handy every now and again, don't you?
I'm trying to stitch my foot up every year, and you wouldn't know.
Yeah, I thought it was a terrible idea, but I also was like, we were in France and there was a hospital right there and we chose not to go, and you're like, oh, but I could do it myself, and I'm like, or we could just go to the hospital, right. And then, anyway.
Can I just say, sorry, Kate, I'll let you carry on.
Yeah.
Charles and Sandy, thank you so much for that. That we will have a beer on you, so thank you again.
Yes.
That's very kind of you.
Very kind.
Very kind.
And we would definitely have a beer on you.
Definitely have a beer. Probably have 2 beers. 3 beers, even 4.
Yes.
Anyway, carry on, my love.
Anyway, so, yes, I think in order, like a trauma kit with bandages, band-aids, like a sling, and bandages that are like compression bandages, so good quality compression bandages.
I like those big cellulose patches as well.
Yeah, like opsite, I don't know what you call them, like those big...
they're big cellulose patches to get the wounds that just...
like seri strips that kind of bind cuts together.
Butterfly stitches they're called, I think.
Butterfly stitches. Yeah. So yeah, that kind of thing.
I'll translate from the Australian.
Yeah, sorry. And like saline to clean any wounds. Obviously, you don't want to be using like tap water or salt water.
We've got hydrogen peroxide down there for wound cleaning.
Okay.
Didn't throw it away, did you?
No, I haven't thrown anything away. And yeah, betadine again. That's probably is that an Australian thing? Betadine?
No, iodine.
Yeah.
Covered in iodine.
Okay. And then things like antibiotics, yes, of course. We also carry on board like antihistamines because if there's a strong allergic reaction, then that can be life-threatening. We have an EpiPen.
We have 2 EpiPens.
We actually have 3 EpiPens.
One's out of date. We have 2
Yeah.
in current EpiPens.
So we have, in case there's someone on board who has an anaphylactic reaction to something, Nick and I don't, knock on board, have that issue, but maybe someone on board will. So we have an EpiPen. And we just have a range of painkillers, you know, obviously ranging from paracetamol to something quite strong like tramadol.
Burn cream as well is a good one.
Yeah.
Antibiotic cream and burn cream. Like just topical creams?
Yeah. And then just like your random stuff that you probably need, like obviously seasickness medication.
Lemsip. Do you know what I always carry? I think it's Lemsip.
Yeah, like cold and flu
Cold
tablets.
and flu tablets.
Like anti-diarrhea, like antifungal creams, like, I don't know, like...
Just
random stuff that you would find in any...
Basically, look in your bathroom cabinet at home
Yeah.
and you probably need most of it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't cost much, like insect bite cream is not expensive,
Yeah.
like a couple of bucks.
We have like Tiger Balm, which if you've been
Tiger
to
Balm
Asia...
fixes everything.
Yeah, if anyone's been to Asia, then you'll know what Tiger Balm is.
Like literally your eye could fall out. Rub some Tiger Balm on it and it will grow back. It's like amazing.
It's awesome. Anyway, I think that's enough about the first aid kit.
Anyway, Floopy the Doop's in the house.
Our favourite thing to say.
Hang on.
We've sorry, I went on for so long that we've...
See, you always tell me off afterwards.
I know, I feel like once I'm on a roll, I have to just keep going because soon I'm going to get interrupted.
Anyway, so, no, Grinsick says, would we buy a trawler? No, we will not. Do you guys suggest finding a volunteer? How do you guys suggest finding volunteer crew jobs? Right, we get this question a lot. I think if we were to have like the top 5 of the questions that we get asked the most, that may be the top 10?
Anyway.
It's a common question. So there's a lot of, there's sailors aren't old and young, and there's a lot of younger sailors or people that like, you know what, there's no way I can find a boat. I can't afford a boat. I've got like, you know, college fund for kids. I've got to pay for a mortgage. This is not something that I can afford to do or will ever envisage being able to afford to do. How do I get into sailing? And the answer really is actually quite simple. And this is how I would suggest you do it. As long as we go to your local sailing club. Now, most sort of like coastal areas have sailing clubs. In fact, we met a group of sailors from Kansas, and Kansas is landlocked, and they were a sailing club from Kansas, so they exist everywhere. There's a lake they were sailing. And basically go and see if you can help out. And this is what used to happen, like when in our old marina, people would just like hang around the sailing club, and like after a while, people, there's always people out of season, kind of like trying to fix their boat, trying to anti-foul their boat, trying to kind of change something, paint something, scrape something, and just go and ask, say, can I help you? And all I would say is that almost with no exception, sailors are the most friendly and inviting and inclusive bunch of people I've ever met. So if you say to them, look, can I help you? Can I help you? And you keep saying, can I help you? And you strike up friendships with these people, they'll take you sailing. Mm-hmm. So you haven't got to own your own boat. And in many ways, owning your own boat is a real kind of millstone. But I absolutely love crewing for other people. And I love crewing for other people because I don't have the responsibility. I literally get on the boat and I'm like, yeah, what do you want me to do? Pull that. And then you're like, you sort it out. Yeah. So there's loads and loads of ways to get into it. And also, for those of you that think, you know what, I do have the money to buy a boat, but I'm not sure. Do the same thing. Go and try it out. Before I started sailing, like before, my local yacht club, which was Greenwich Yacht Club in South London, they did this. I actually thought, before I go and buy a boat, I'm going to go and take some theory classes. So I went and took my theory classes at Greenwich Yacht Club. They were evening classes. And there was they did a thing every year, which was, so you think you want to sail, or you think you want to learn to sail, and it's where all the owners of boats in that marina took landlubbers like me off for the day sailing, and they took me up the Thames, and I had a really lovely day out. They took me back, and I thought, yeah, that was nice. But you get a feel for it. So there's loads of ways to get into it that don't involve any money. I think nowadays, the world, I'm going to digress a little bit, it's becoming a little bit more polarized. There's people that have got like so much money, they're like, I'm going to buy this, I'm going to have a gold-plated helicopter. And there's the rest of us that are like, you know what, we're going to just chip in and help one another and help other people, and kind of like, and these organisations are all on the internet for like helping one another and not paying like corporations for services, and it's filtered down into kind of sailing. So you just help other people and they'll help you back. There you go. No lift shift. I hope I answered your question.
Sean says, what do you consider the most reasonably priced boat for ocean-going crossing? Boy, that's a big question.
It is. There's no answer to that question. Essentially,
you can row across the Atlantic. There's an event where people actually literally row across the Atlantic in boats to raise money for charity. You can cross the Atlantic. There's a transit race where they cross in like these crazy little like 20-foot racing boats. There's 30-footers that cross the Atlantic. There's like super yachts across the Atlantic. There's no rule.
It's difficult to say, but I would suggest that if you put a gun to my head, I'd say for two people, 35 foot, I would say as length, and something which is well founded, like so well, good rigging, good hull, and well surveyed.
Yeah.
So what have we got? New viewer here. Do you have kids? If so, where are they? Don't know. They ran off. They ran off years ago. Someone knocked on the door the other day and said, "Where are your kids?" I'm like, "Don't know. I just put on a French accent, a little moustache, and sent him next door." No, we don't have kids. Jeffrey Robbins. That sounds like a muffin. Jeffrey Robbins muffin. Ooh, I want a muffin. Anyway, so are the French canals next after you go to? Yes, I don't know what. I'd love to do them. I love France.
The problem with the French canals is that it takes you, obviously, by necessity, like, you have to go to the Atlantic coast of France, which there is nothing wrong with. We've sailed the Atlantic coast of France twice, but we're going to be in the Med, so we have to then
plan...
we
go to Marseille. The Port St. Louis in Marseille.
No, but then to do the canals, you end up on the Atlantic coast.
Only if you do the Canal de Midi, you can go up the way. You can go to Paris and back.
And back? You want to go to Paris and then turn around and come all the way back down again?
Oui, bien sûr. On va faire le voyage dans les canals.
No, but we will do the French canals.
Sherry says, what's your current beam? Our current beam is 4 metres, so that is 14 foot.
She's pretty beamy.
Yeah, she's got a fat ass on her.
Nick, do you attend a dentist, or do you allow Teresa to look after you? Oh, if only. That would be amazing.
No, I don't attend a dentist. I need to go and see one.
Why? What's the problem?
No, just for a checkup.
Oh, okay. I can... Maybe I can.
No.
I found the dental kits the other day when I was cleaning out the medical cupboard. So no. He doesn't do checkups on me, so.
Welcome, wide.
Next
Anyway,
question.
Someone said,
Yes.
Gogs, thank you very much, Gogs. We will have a beer on you as well. That's 3 beers tonight. Woohoo!
I might even get a pina colada.
A pina colada.
All right. Julian says, not sure there is such a thing as a perfect boat. Yeah, exactly.
There isn't. You know what?
There really is not.
When we bought this boat, it was our forever boat, and we've got to the point
thought it
now.
would be the perfect boat.
It is, and it has been for this part of the journey.
Yeah.
It's been the best boat. And to tell you the truth, if I wanted to do, if I wanted to do this trip again, with what we've done, this is the boat I'd buy. For exactly how we've gone for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Something which has got a shallow draft, is beautiful, is got a spacious cockpit, a really spacious saloon.
There's compromises.
Yeah, of course there are.
Yeah.
And we can store it cheaply.
Yeah. Okay. Making for Svalbard in a cat.
Svalbard. It's like a Viking. When you say cat,
I'd love to go up to the Baltic. I'm showing Svalbard. How do you say that again?
Svalbard. It's not in Nigeria, is it?
But it's in.
No, Svalbard is not in Nigeria.
But no, it's in Norway.
Up there
but it's
somewhere.
all the way up in the Arctic Circle, I think.
Yes.
My geography of
Bow-wave Paul, what booze do you carry on board, and what bottle is it for emergencies? We do have an emergency bottle, actually. It appears in a video that we've been editing at the moment. It's called Extra Strong Rum.
Oh, right.
And it's normal rum is 40% alcohol or 80% by proof. This is 80% alcohol, 160% proof. So what we do is when we have friends over, we're like, would you like a rum? And we give them a little rum and like, oh, that's nice. And then we give them another bigger rum and they go, oh, that's nice. And then we give them, then we do the bait and switch and give them the extra strong rum and they are bollocks.
Yeah, and or we use it to kill fish.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool. So,
The Morgan Monroe Show. Hey, peeps, what did you miss? Not a lot of me talking rubbish.
Oh, sorry, he probably asked that like a good half an hour ago because we are behind.
Sorry.
If you had the choice to sail anywhere in the world, where would it be? I've got a real hankering to sail around Thailand right now. I had spring rolls the other day and I was like, oh, I just want to go back to Thailand.
What the hell? So basically, spring rolls now affect our sailing choices.
I would really love to sail around.
Well, we've got curry in the fridge. We're going to India next.
No, that's a Malaysian curry. I'd love to sail around Southeast Asia. What about you? Why don't you ask the question properly?
Do you know what? This is going to sound like a bit of a cop-out. I'm really looking forward to the Med.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Since that's where we're going. Would you ever think about going up the Mississippi?
I'd be proper Tom Sawyer.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, but I want to do it in a steamboat or on a raft.
Yeah, I was going to say not in this boat, I don't think. Okay, cool.
Coop says, have we looked into the new tartan? We met some friends actually that owned a tartan. They have an older tartan, 38.
What was that?
Z and...
Oh, yeah.
And that was a beautiful boat. Really nice. Really nice. So...
we haven't looked into the new one. Though.
Captain of SV Catfish.
Excellent name.
Ask a question. How do I get rid of the content of Blackwater tank? So basically, if you're in a marina, there is normally a pump-out boat that will go and pump it out for you. Or you go out to sea, like 12 miles out to sea. Or 3 miles out to sea, or whatever.
Yeah. Cool.
Old Soldier, thank you so much for making us laugh. Angel Videos. Greetings from Oklahoma, all capitals. Your channel is awesome. Again, all capitals. That's what I want to hear.
4 exclamation marks.
4.
That's really...
That's 7 because he put 3 the first time.
Ah.
Nigel Jopling says, how far north in Europe do you plan to go?
I would like to go to the Baltic, but I don't think we're going to... because this thing where it gets really grumpy if it's cold, so...
Yeah, it's churchy.
Yeah, but I would love to go... I'd love to actually go up to the Arctic Circle, but that would definitely never happen. I want to go to the Shetland Islands and see what happens. I feel like any thoughts on doing the Great Loop on the ICW? That was an option for us last year. We didn't really have the time, but I think that it'd be awesome. I'd love to do that one day. I don't know when.
I think I would suggest that if we buy another boat, we'll buy it in the States.
Yeah.
It's probably likely that we will buy an American boat.
There's just so many options. Like there's so much for sale in America.
And so we'd probably buy a boat in the States, or we would buy a boat where, like the thing is, I think we'd get to the point where, while we were living, and I would suggest that anyone that's thinking about buying a boat, we've said this to a few people that have kind of come to ask for like advice. If you're going to buy a boat and go off sailing, like don't necessarily think you've got to buy the boat in the country that you're living in. Just go somewhere else and buy it. So, like for instance, people that want to sail the Caribbean, go to Grenada and buy a boat. Yeah. It's an amazing place to buy boats, and then you've got just windward passages, and it's easy. You haven't got to do that slog from America. If you want to go through Panama, consider buying a boat in America where you just go down through Florida and across. And if you want to do the Med, buy it in Europe. So go to where the boat is. Don't necessarily take the boat to where it's,
What size is your boat? Someone asked. It's a 39 point something foot.
It depends how you measure it. At the moment, it's 41 foot long with the bowsprit.
But waterline length is 36.
No. But 36. That's waterline length.
Yeah, waterline length.
It's a 41 foot.
It's a southerly 38.
But it's 41 foot.
But our papers say 39. That's how we get the sub 40 foot tariffs.
Yeah. So basically, when they build a boat, they build it in literally from without the bowsprit or the anchor on it at all. So and that's. Oh, hang on, we're really well behind. But that means that everyone's asking questions. Okie dokie. So, Alan. Tiger Mum used to claim opiates. Yeah, sweet. Alan says, I think catamarans are overrated and only for those who can't take the lean. I disagree, Alan. Now, Alan, if you are still watching, I think that what happens is, in the same way that I've had this discussion with friends of mine, like, you can't have a TV on a boat. It's all fair and well to not have a TV on a boat when you don't live on a boat, or when it's not your home 12 months of the year. If it is your home 12 months of the year, there's no point in just having like something which you can't call home. This is home to us, so it's got all the things on that we need, and space for long-term liveables, and I mean long-term liveables, is really paramount. In the same way that your house probably gets filled up with bits and bobs and you want more, and you buy a new TV or you buy a new sofa. Not that we want a sofa, but we're getting to the point now where we just want more space. And we can get, Anyway, Bob Yandel says, if you ever got new sails, what sailmaker would you choose? I don't have a preference for sailmaker. I don't think... I mean, there's loads and loads of really good sailmakers out there. I'm not going to mention any, but I would basically want a sailmaker to come and take measurements. And that's kind of what I would look for in a sailmaker, not someone that just said, fill in this form. I want someone to come down because there are certain idiosyncrasies in boats that are very different. So when a sailmaker says, oh, here's a form, fill it in and send me the measurements, it's very different to the sailmaker going, it's different in the States because you're so big. But in the UK, that was my requirement. They came and did the measurements and talked me through what I wanted in a sail. You know, triple stitched, again, for offshore sailing, tri-laminate, all these things. Tri-radial, sorry.
Gog says, what is the tub behind you? I don't know what that is. I'm not very good with
trawler.
trawlers. Yeah, I don't know what type it is. Okay, cool. So, just scroll down a bit.
Okay, so Matt Warp21 Drive says, people in the USA think yacht clubs are for elitists. They are wrong. Do you know what? It's not just limited to the States. There are so many people that believe that yacht clubs in the UK are elitist. They're not at all. There are some places, like if you go down to certain areas of the UK, you know, where everyone's dressed in chinos and like blue chambray shirts and walk around in deck shoes. It's a horrible place to be, but most of them that we go to, salt of the earth people, absolutely amazing and very, very, very friendly.
Forensic says, are all the sailors EMTs and dentists? I'm a paramedic, or have you know? And no, not at all. We like all walks of life.
Sailing Naughty Pirate says, I'm a living proof you don't need to be rich to own a sailboat. Yes, just dive in and learn from sailors on YouTube channels. Absolutely. Be safe, though. Don't think it's easy. It is easy if you take lessons and you understand safety. Not just for you, but for the people that have to come and rescue you if you stuff things up. So make sure you understand the limitations that you have and that your boat has. That's important. And also, at some point, we talked about this before, you know, it was... I've had a few friends that have bought boats for $1. Decent sailing boats.
I think that Sailing Miss Lone Star on YouTube, she bought a boat for $1. So, yeah, she's documented that.
Kevin says, I joined a sailing club for $115 a month. I can sail their boats anytime I want. Weather permitting. That's pretty good.
Yep.
Ken Royal says, as a dentist, are you able to carry morphine in your medical kit for emergencies at sea? I'm able to get morphine. So if I was to go to... actually, that's not strictly true. The dental prescribing formula was very different to the medical prescribing formula. So as a dentist, if I went to and got a private prescription, and they'd flag it. However, it's not to do with me carrying this stuff because I'm a dentist. It's because different countries have got very different restrictions. Like, for instance, if we sailed into Singapore with a load of morphine, we'd get into a huge swathe of trouble because it carries a death penalty, which is obviously something I don't want to get involved in. I wouldn't get killed for carrying morphine.
Are you sure it carries a death penalty?
But yeah, you get it on all the landing cards. You're smuggling morphine in. If you don't declare it and they catch you, you get into all sorts of strife. Angel videos, you are both hilarious. Woohoo, tons of fun. 3 exclamation marks. Always watch your adventures. I have learned a lot from your sailing. Thank you so much. Laura Ceccarelli, someone of Italian heritage. Welcome to the half Italian part of the show.
Says hello from Michigan.
Says hello. Clint the Crosser says, if you change the boat name, are you keeping the name? The new boat will always be Ruby Rose 2, probably.
Jim says, hi guys, what have I missed? You've missed Nick talking at kind of double speed for like the last...
Alan Davis says, when you're
minutes.
on the hook, what is the easiest way to meet people? Well, this is the thing. Are you going to explain this?
Well, yeah.
I am an absolute whore. I have no qualms who I go and talk to, who I go...
That probably won't surprise any of you watching this.
So I will literally go over to another boat, knock on the hull, say hi, blah, blah, blah. Teresa is more, should we say staid?
No, I can be very sociable, but...
You can be.
Yeah.
There's normally 6 or 7 minutes a day when
just because I don't like get in the dinghy and like zip over to another boat, which I have done in the past, by the way, and to say, hello, it's me, I'm your neighbour. When we saw these Australians in Antigua.
I thought I went over.
No, I went over.
It's been a full moon.
I think that you made me.
There was a massive row, probably. I don't want to go over and talk to people I don't know.
Yeah.
When we were in Charleston, people didn't even know that you were still on the boat. They're like, where is she? Oh, she's sitting there reading the book.
I also like being on the boat by myself, so I quite enjoy like the 10 minutes of alone time. I quite enjoy the 10 minutes of alone time that I get when you go with someone else.
Anyway, Bow Wave Pool. Did you see the Distant Shores launch there? 48. Yes, we did. That is a beautiful boat. A beautiful, beautiful.
And now I want a Southerly 48.
Why not?
It was beautiful.
It is a beautiful boat. No, nothing. Someone says, welcome to Cartagena. Yeah, we'll be there. Woofy6190. Woofy6190, tell us how you got your name. I work for you in Svalbard and it's cold. Yeah, right, get that.
Apparently we're buffering.
It's okay.
We've
unbuffered.
Are you seeing or meeting any families that live abroad? Loads. No. We're constantly meeting families that live abroad.
Yeah.
Yes.
We have a lot. Yeah, it's good. It's nice.
I mean, I think almost everyone we've hung out with this season has been a family boat.
We are buffering. Why do we buffer? Like the flaming tower's there.
Yeah.
Anyway, favourite music to cruise by? It just depends. Anything from jazz to what have we been listening to recently? 21 Pilots. A lot. Oh, I'm going to see if the phone's fallen. Has it fallen?
Next, check on the phone. Oops.
I'll see if that's better. Anyway, we unbuffered.
Okay.
Alright, are we good?
Yes.
Okie dokie. So, Uwe Scheider says, watching us from Austria. Excellent. Are we? What about all this? Did we answer these questions?
I
or you
don't
just...
know. Well, I don't know how.
Okay, so Louis made an important point. There's only 128 thumbs up. Can please all give us a thumbs up, please? It doesn't cost you anything. Just put a thumbs up in it, and then we.
We're here.
Woohoo! So, waterways. Tracy, where are you in Southeast London? Because I'm from Southeast London.
Yes.
Tell us where you are from in Southeast London.
And then in about 20 minutes we'll read your answer because we're so far behind.
What would we have on the new boat that we don't have on this one? A bigger fridge. 2 big fridges.
Oh, like that's the least of our wish list.
Pole dancing pole.
I'd love a separate shower.
I want two monkeys banging a drum.
We want,
and a fez.
I think, a cutter rigged boat as well.
Yeah, definitely cutter rigged. Yes.
What else do we want?
I want a musical armchair.
This is a good one. Who had to convince whom about the idea of going sailing, or did you both have the same dream from the beginning?
I was the sailor. She didn't take much convincing.
Yeah. I think that sometimes I'm the one being like, let's go.
Reverend David Thompson, your mast height from the waterline. It is. We're ICW friendly because we've just been down it. We are 63 feet or 62 feet. So yes. Total spearfishing. What level of experience do you think you need before setting off for a new boat life? I would suggest, look, you have to just have confidence in how you sail. Now, you can set off for a boat life and a life on boats that just says port hopping. And pick your weather windows. Don't go out into bad weather and do 20 miles or 10 miles or 5 miles until you kind of... I remember when I bought my first boat, I had this plan. The plan for the entire season was I am going to sail this boat to a local anchorage. I'm going to pick up a mooring ball for the night. I'm going to stay on a mooring ball at night and then sail back. And that was my plan for season 1. As it transpires, that passed in... I think that was weekend 1. I'm like, I was out and done it. And so you can grow, your confidence grows, and as your confidence grows, you'll get there. Alan, thank you so much. Someone sent us for a drink with an umbrella.
Yes, that would be... Well, actually, I was going to say that would be mine, but Nick is really partial to drinks with umbrellas in it as well.
So sailing Starbucks. Yeah. Question, there was a light bulb moment. Where did you decide to become a liveaboard? Or did the decision sneak up on you?
I feel like the decision kind of sneaked up.
Snuck.
I don't think snuck is a word. I think it's a colloquialism. I don't know. I think that it was just like baby steps. We started off in our old boat, which is a Hans 32, and we just did weekends in it.
I always wanted to do it.
When I first met Nick, he said, I've got this dream of sailing around Europe in my boat. And I was like, that sounds cool. I'd never been on a sailboat before. I was like, all right then. And then as we sailed more together, and as I became a more confident sailor, and as I realised that there's a big world out there of sailing, and that we could take our boat beyond Europe, I think that we both started taking it a bit more seriously and started actually planning for it rather than just dreaming about it.
So here's a question. Doug Marder, this is a good one. Have you ever had an incident with a yacht anchoring too close to you and arguing with you about it? Strangely enough, were you here last week? We haven't vlogged about it. This was a strange one. We were in an anchorage last week, anchored in I'm going to try and not make this biased, but it's very difficult. It wasn't a recognised mooring field. It was just an anchorage, and in that anchorage there were two fenders that had been put down by fishermen. So
We assume fishermen.
Yeah, they were tiny, and the anchorage was really, really shallow. I think it was about a metre 10, so 3 foot, 4 foot.
Mm-hmm.
So, hang on a second, son. John Davis, thank you very much.
Thank you, John.
Anyway, so this girl comes.
And we had been anchoring in this anchorage, which was a huge anchorage. It was ginormous for probably cumulatively, I don't know, a couple of weeks. Never seen anyone on these mooring balls before.
They're meant for
and when I
little
say
fishing
mooring
boats.
balls, I mean like it's literally like a bucket floating on the water with a line attached.
Yeah,
so
there's no ground weight, there's no screw. It's literally just anyway.
Anyway,
This single-handed female sailor comes and picks up the ball, and then about 20 minutes later, she kind of comes over in a dinghy and kind of says, "Oh, I'm over there. Do you think I'm too close to you?" And we're like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Well, what do you think we should do about that?" And I'm like, and Teresa was like, "Well, either you move or I move." And she's like, "Well, what do you think we should do?" Because like mooring balls take priority. And Teresa's like, "Well, we could move." At this point, I went flaming bananas and just started. I said to her, I got up and I probably wasn't in the best frame of mind. I said, "Now listen to me." I said, "You know, you've come over. This is not a recognised mooring field. You've anchored. You've moored like within 12 metres of our boat." I said, "Mooring balls take priority in mooring fields. This is a recognised anchorage, and they're just fishing floats." I said, "So you have come over. Coal Reg 7 states that you have to avoid collision at all times. You have acknowledged that you have put this boat in danger, your boat in danger, by coming over to tell us. So I said, you can stay there if you want, but when and if we collide, please phone your insurance company and tell them that you acknowledge that you, as the second boat arriving, put the boat in danger, acknowledged that you're in danger, and did nothing about it."
So this is a very grey area, clearly. For example, we're in Marsh Harbour at the moment. I don't know whether this is a recognised mooring field. There's moorings, like mooring balls, kind of dotted around the place, owned, I think, by probably just the marinas. And if you were to anchor in the way of a mooring ball, then you would have to move. So
that's true. It's absolutely true. If you are in a mooring field where it is a legal mooring, either private or owned by the government, or by... So if you go into a marina...
Yes, but we didn't know that those moorings, and we still don't know whether those moorings are legal or not. We know nothing about them.
There are no legal... I asked. There's no legal mooring
Who
field.
did you ask?
Because Hopetown have their own mooring field. And she was in the wrong mooring field. Anyway, enough.
Anyway.
Skeksis Icon. Skeksis, that's from the crystal. Do you have any thoughts on in-mast furling sails? I think technology's come on really well. I was watching Distant Shores video actually about their new Elvstrom sails, and also I was talking to another cat owner who was saying that they've kind of got a system now which is kind of a lot better than it was, so it doesn't jam as much and you can get some really good full-length vertical buttons. So there you go.
Viper says, long-time subscriber, first-time chatter.
Woohoo!
Welcome. Thank you. Okay. How do you refill prescriptions while travelling? Yeah, it's not easy. I think that we go back to the UK fairly regularly, so we can do it whenever we're home.
So, son of a gun,
Jonathan.
Oh, bonjour. So yeah, sorry about the buffering. I think it should have stopped now. I've moved the phone.
It's a little bit towards you.
Yeah.
What cruising guide would you recommend? For where? It depends.
Yeah, the Caribbean, it's the Wimbledon and Leeward cruising guides of like the Bibles. We just buy the adult pole ones for different areas that we're cruising.
Well, it depends on where you are.
Yeah.
How many sails are you carrying on board now?
We've got the white sails, we have a Code Zero, we have a parasail, and we've got a storm sail.
Okay. Some countries allow ships captains to write prescriptions. Yeah, that's true. I've heard that. We've never put it to the test. Okay. Where are we?
I got lost. Okie dokie. So let's have a look at Shifty. So John. Okay, Technical Tuesday. So yeah, Viper says Technical Tuesday. You did the setting of anchor, but you should show how to retrieve the anchor. Yeah, I kind of didn't get that. I mean, really, retrieving an anchor is, unless it's fouled, is straightforward. We've actually got to the point now where you anchor, or where you're kind of raising anchor. We used to motor forward a little bit. Now we just don't. We literally let the windlass start the process, and then it's easier.
Nazia says, I am Indian.
There you
I'm
go.
from India.
Well done.
Excellent.
Congratulations in India. I like India. I like country. Sailing with the missus full time, does your patience wane thin at times? I think that I am probably more of a problem to Teresa than Teresa is to me. Would you say so, darling? Would you?
Perhaps. Hang on, there's a question in that one. I was like, we're heading down this is set from sailing Dijon.
Mustard.
We're heading down the ICW from New Jersey in October. What's your favourite restaurant in Charleston? Excellent question.
I'm going to go with the Tattooed Moose. It's not really a restaurant.
Yeah, the Tattooed Moose was fun.
Snob?
Yes, slightly north of Broad in downtown Charleston was awesome.
And Pugin Smokehouse.
Yeah, and next door is Pugin Smokehouse. That's really nice as well. But I like slightly north of Broad. It's kind of a little bit upmarket. If you're up for like a healthy lunch that is actually extremely delicious, then go to Dell's, DELLZ. Just outside of downtown Charleston. It's like about a 5-minute drive away, and they do amazing wraps. I didn't even think that I liked wraps until I went there. So yeah, I love it.
Exactly. All right. Exactly. Anyone got any other questions? Oh, we got the prize draw.
Yeah.
Okay, so actually we've got news and stuff and everything.
Yeah, I know. We need to start talking about.
Kai Curry says, do you have a dedicated DSC receive antenna for your SSB? Yes, we do. I was looking at it today. She's changed that. Right. So a couple of things. And sorry,
Fireman MFD says, do you ever plan on doing circumnavigation? Absolutely, definitely, 100% we plan on doing
that. JP says, any med plans? Med plans are coming on fine. Any countries are no-go due to cruising permit crossover restrictions. Because of Brexit, we don't know what's going to happen about UK cruising boats.
Yeah. At the moment,
that's why we're going back to Europe.
That's right. That's one good reason for us to be going back to Europe, because at the moment
I actually answered Joe's question as he was typing.
Yeah. Do you think Brexit will affect boat passes in Europe?
I don't think it will.
I think it might be. Well, people might be less willing. British boats might be less willing to go into Europe.
No, I read. It's to do with the VAT paid status. I think that basically you can't. If the VAT was paid while we were in Europe, you can't. There's no way they can charge you VAT again.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I don't know. It's a tough one.
Bob Yandel, best source for finding right marinas while in transit? I'd say Active Captain.
Yeah, or Noonsight.
Yeah, Noonsight's very good.
Okay, cool.
So, have we answered these things? John Davis, thank you very much, and Alan Davis.
Oh, you guys have the same surname. Did you guys know that? That's kind of weird.
Now.
All right.
Joe Bot says, do we carry medical insurance that covers all the places you go to? Yes, there are some exceptions, like Yemen. Like it doesn't cover Yemen or Iraq or other places, but most other normal cruising destinations.
Jason said, "What editing software do you use?" We use Final Cut Pro. It's pretty awesome. How's your canvas work holding up?
Yeah, it's good. Do you know what? It's these boats going past.
I don't know if that's true. Why would that make any difference?
Because they've got electrical stuff.
Electricity.
Captain Scurvy, Kevin says, yes, Sasquatch says, so firstly, Sasquatch says, will you give us a tour of Bermuda when we get there? If we get time, yes, we will. We'll be videoing.
It might be literally we're there for 2 days and then we leave.
Stuart says, some countries allow boat captains to write prescriptions. Yeah, there's a lot of things we can theoretically do.
There's something we need right now.
No. Is canvas work holding up? I think it will. Needs a little bit of end of season, couple of stitches replaced.
Do you have AC? No, we don't. We don't have enough power for that. Okay, shall we? Hang
on a minute. A couple of things I want to talk about. Firstly, about Technical Tuesday.
Okay.
So far, that's been a great success. Really enjoying doing it. We've got loads of suggestions from you about what you want to do and what you want to see, and we will get on with that. So, any other suggestions? Put them on our Facebook page rather than on here.
Yeah, we can't really read this very well, so If you do have any suggestions for Technical Tuesdays, then either email us at yachtreaperrose@gmail.com or you can send us a message on Facebook.
Yes. So that's the first thing. The next thing is we are starting a new series of videos, which will be out. They were going to come out today, actually, but we're not doing it today because we are doing this today. So, and those videos are going to be just a broad subject about cooking on boats, because we get this question. It's probably like our top.
Another top.
No, it's probably top 5 actually.
Yeah.
But like, how do you cook on a boat? How do you get on with cooking in such a small space?
Yeah.
And people have these worries about the transition from living in a house to living on a boat, and like, how do you cope? The answer, in short, is absolutely fine. But we are going to show you basic recipes that we cook, and kind of some more advanced recipes that we cook regularly, to just show you how easy and tasty it can be.
And tasty. And also things like equipment that we use in the galley that makes our life easier, how we store our food, little kind of tricks and tips that we've learned along the way.
Just boat hacks.
Yeah.
So that's good. Anyway, so that's coming out. So Technical Tuesday's coming out. The cooking thing's coming out.
And then the first galley episode will be on next Sunday, so a week today.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, because with next,
yeah.
hopefully. Stuart says, yeah, so that's next week. Stuart says, do we use a pressure cooker? Yes, we do.
So
it is invaluable, and we'll
Yes.
do an entire episode about that.
Yeah. And when we sail across the Atlantic, I think there'll probably be a few episodes of us actually cooking underway and showing you what it's like to cook when you're actually in a seaway.
Yeah, the stream's good at our end. We can actually see our own stream, and we can see when it buffers. So it's not, we're not buffering at the moment.
Okay. Do cooking on the lean, yeah, exactly.
I did fish and I fried fish and chips.
I think cooking on the lean is hard enough when you're just focused on cooking, let alone like filming it as well. So I can't promise that, but we'll do our best.
Well, we've recorded a couple of different dishes. We did them over this weekend while I've been stuck in this anchorage, and yeah, it's been fun.
We'd probably have to, like, if we were actually on a proper lean, we'd probably have to get some GoPros rigged up or something and just like go for it. Okay.
So yeah, so that's good. That's it. So yeah, so County Digger said, please hit the like button.
Yeah. And
if those of you who are watching this and like, who the hell are these two? Just subscribe for the hell of it. Don't worry about it. Just subscribe to what we do. It's so good for the channel. So like, if you just turn on and you're meant to be watching Call of Duty and you're like, why is this stuff trendy? Just subscribe. Brilliant. I'll buy you a bun. Can't buy. Oh yeah. Okay.
Do you have any plans to sell on the Australian coast? Yes, one day.
Yes. Kayla Bernier says, my husband wants to know, why doesn't your husband just ask himself? Is he scared hiding behind you? How does your guitar hold up being out in the ocean? Is the sort of killer? Thus far, no. I've got 2 Martins on the boat. I've got, let's see, and now it is buffering. There's no reason for it to buffer. Maybe it's because the boat's swinging around. Okay, no, see, it's not something. Okay, so yeah, so whoever asked about the guitar, I've got one of my Martins. I've just had strapped to the compression post for 3 years. No problems with it at all. The other more expensive Martin is in a hermetically sealed case where steam comes out when I open it because it's so nice.
Do you ever actually play it because it's so expensive?
No, I'm too scared to get out of the bloody case.
Yeah, well.
Anyway, there you go. So there you go. So Giant Bailey from Benfleet. I've got a friend who lives in Benfleet called Louise.
I think Benfleet was the first place that we sailed to. Is that the place with the funny piles?
All right. So that's all I need. We got a competition to announce, so I'll make sure that we're not buffering. Anyway, so listen, I'm going to get the results up. So for those of you who didn't know, we ran a competition for a couple of weeks just to try and give you something back because you're all so nice to us. We're like, let's just run a competition, and we will run other competitions. We're just going to try and find milestones to do the competitions. So we have 6 prizes. We have 5 prizes. So 5 runners-up prizes, which are T-shirts, and then the winner was a $200 voucher from Mantis and a T-shirt and a hat. So what happens is, the way this works is, we will email you, or you can email us to tell us that you're the prize winner.
We'll email you.
Yeah, you have to have the email that you kind of entered with, so that we can prove that it's you. And yeah.
Without further ado.
No, we're buffering again.
So there is further ado. What does further ado mean without further ado? What does the ado in that
I do.
mean? Yeah.
I do run.
What?
Anyway. Okay, so these are the runners-up. So, Therese, do you want to just read the runners-up prizes?
Okay, so are we... No, we need to wait for us not to buffer. Why do we keep on buffering at this very important
Hang on.
junction?
I'll try and unbuffer this.
Yes.
You know?
No, we're still buffering. Hang on, guys.
Like, literally, there's no...
The tower is like maybe 100 meters away. It's ridiculous.
All right, we're back. Right.
Are we back? All right. Okay.
Vamos.
All right. Okay. So as Nick said, we've got 5 runners-ups.
We're still fucking buffering. What is wrong with this? Look, literally.
We're such amateurs.
We're not. It's not my... All right, go. We're buffering or not?
No, we are. Why don't you put it on top of the mini?
Sort of actually going to the tower.
Yeah, we should just walk to Maxwell's and then we'll walk past the tower and it'll be grand.
All right, we're buffering or not?
Yeah, we are.
But there's no reason for this.
I know. And yet here we are.
There's no reason for this to buffer. There's like literally a 4G signal there.
I know.
What if we ran out of data? Wouldn't that be shocking?
Do you think they have?
No, we're back.
Alright. Okay, I think we're back. Okay, I'm going to announce this before it starts to buffer again. Okay, so the 5 runner-ups. How do I say that?
Just get on with it before we start buffering. We're buffering you.
No, we're good. Come back.
Alright, just get on with it.
Okay, so Tori Foley from Seattle, Washington, USA. You have won a t-shirt.
And we're buffering.
Oh, this is so annoying.
Let me just try and turn the internet on and off.
Okay.
Are we still buffering?
No, not right now. Yes, we are. It goes for like a minute and then it stops.
Okay. No, literally, the tower's there.
I know. Guys.
Look, we're going. Just get on with it.
Okay. No, we're not. Yes, we are. No, we're not.
Look, there's no little circle. Get on with it.
Okay. So, runner-ups. I can't say that word.
Fucking ultras. Just get on with it before bloody it gets dark.
Alright, Tori Foley from Seattle. You've won a t-shirt. Congratulations. We'll be emailing you very soon. Wendy Rizzolo from Port Orchard, WA. Is that Washington?
Yep.
Yes. You have also won a t-shirt. Austin Sims from Loganholme in Queensland, Australia. You've won a t-shirt too. Joe Worth from Allenwood, New Jersey in the USA. You have also won our gear. And the final runner-up for t-shirts is Billy Mabry in Lynchburg, Virginia. Did you get all that?
Yeah, so did you get the 5 runners up?
Did everyone mark? No, I don't think you did win, Mark. Sorry, mate.
And yeah, so the winner.
Everyone's like, shit. This is the worst.
Anyway, and the winner of this competition is. And apologies for my pronunciation. It's Tor Arvi Helgeland from Fitjar in Norway.
Yes.
So congratulations, Tor. We will contact you all to tell you that you've won, because obviously this is not the best way of putting out who's won an effing competition when we buffer. It's like it's coitus interruptus. See, we've gone again.
I think I have your face.
Hey Wendy, look, there we someone. Woohoo! So Wendy actually won. So it's the first person that actually is watching.
Yeah,
Wendy won.
Oh, Wendy.
Yay, well done.
Awesome.
So I'm pleased for Wendy.
Oh, well done, Wendy. Yeah, so we're going to email you and we'll sort out the details.
Okay, so Kezia, let me just run. Someone's asked for this again. We will email everyone that won, just because we're making an absolute mess of this, aren't we? Anyway, the 5 winners: Tori Foley from Seattle, Wendy Rizzolo from Washington, Austin Sims from Queensland, Joe Worth from New Jersey, Bill Mabry from Lynchburg, and Tor Alvi Helgeland from Norway is our winner.
All right, did you get all that?
Anyway, so yeah, we will email. Anyway, listen. Yeah, as always, the signal's going. We will. We'll get back to you. We'll email everyone that's won. So if you don't receive an email from us, then unfortunately, you didn't win. But there will be more competitions. So
Yes,
to Tori and Wendy and Austin and Joe and Billy and Tor, congratulations. So there you go.
And thanks for taking part in this competition because it's been really fun.
Yeah. So now you should have called us. Anyway, I think that's about wraps everything up, unless you have any more pressing questions, because we're not going to be back for a couple of weeks.
Yes.
Because we have got some sailing to do. We've got to go and cross the bloody Atlantic. Yeah. Look at this. Fuckery.
To think that we stayed in Marsh Harbour so we'd have decent internet to do the live stream.
Yeah. All right,
guys. Do you accept donations in Bitcoin? No, we don't.
We can't even do normal coins.
All right.
Yes, we're going to call it a day because the buffering's got mad.
Yeah.
Okay, so listen, thank you so much. We are going to try and cross the Atlantic Ocean. And we'll see you, hopefully, the next time you see us, it won't be on the news, we'll be like somewhere else.
Well, the next time we do a live stream will be, I don't know, hopefully in the Azores or maybe in Europe, depending on how much time we have in the Azores.
Yeah, all right.
Oh, have fun.
Bye-bye.
Yes.
Bye-bye. Sorry about the swearing.